I am Governor candidate Mark Stewart, and this is the Daily Fire for November 21st. And fire is an appropriate term because I want to talk now, 2 months since the Vegas shootings, about gun control. And this is a hard issue after Vegas because one of the few elements in response was, well, we need better mental health. However, this guy would have evaded any mental health screens. By all accounts, an ordinary guy who did terrible mayhem. Ladies and gentlemen, ordinary and unordinary will always be able to do awful mayhem despite gun laws. Do you think somebody intent on murder really cares about complying with some state or local ordinance and maybe suffering a fine if he doesn't? No, he's going to pack as much heat and ammunition as possible. Do you think he really cares if we legislate against production of those stocks that gave extra ammunition and fast-firing rounds to the Vegas turd who shot so many people? No, they are producible in the home. These are producible by the new kind of plastic engineering that you can do off of your computer. We cannot prevent mayhem from starting. But guns in the hands of good people, and 99% of people are good, guns in the hands of good and fairly well-trained people can stop the mayhem that starts. Indeed, they're the best weapon we've ever had against a shooter in a crowded area. And even if not a shooter, what is going to bring down the drunk marauder with a knife? What's going to stop the person who wants to rape your wife, your girlfriend? It's a good guy with a gun. Most good people who train on guns are the best allies. They're far better than the police. The police can't get there on time. They can do autopsies. That's it. As far as mental health, one area that I'm not sure is a good protection is mental health in the government. Mental health in the government's hands is rife with problems. Over-prescribing medication, over-incarceration, under-incarceration. The person who committed a more recent offense in Texas, killed 19 people, was within the government's purview as a mental health risk. He should never have had a firearm. But by entrusting the government to assess mental health, we're no better protected, and many people in Texas are still in the hospital or dead. The best protection, I think, is the community. That when somebody says or writes incendiary things, when somebody's behavior is way out of line, it is worth more public scrutiny. And yes, denial of a permit if it reaches a certain level. Now, that still isn't going to stop them from the illegal guns. There are 300 million of them. There is one characteristic that applies to almost every mass shooter in this country. Ready? Loner. He was a loner, kept to himself. Well, that might deserve our heightened scrutiny of how to avoid him doing mayhem. And it might encourage more communitarian, do things in groups and be a little wary, a little, of that outsider. Yes, I would board a plane that allowed good people to tote guns. So that if there were, again, bad people trying to take that plane into a tower, they're plinked off before they get to the cockpit. An airline that's permitted to do this, I will be a customer. I'll end on a happy note. I will be a good ally. I just got my permit. Took a while, but it has come through. And I'm not a bad shot. So I invite other people. Oh, yeah. First shooting. By the way, this was before the gauges were set. Okay. After that, pretty good grouping from 30 feet. So if you want to join me for target practice for good guys and good gals, Bristol next month, we will do a group session. I would love to see you there. Until then, convene with me, doitforliberty.com. Thanks for your attention.